That's the 5th,
So
October 5th. What's that?
October
Monday?
October 5th. Yep. I could probably go out in the car and find the police report. In fact, I know I could. I didn't throw it away, so it's there.
Okay, and
But
where was this
so
again? This was at
this was at
9 Mile?
8 Mile and Hayes. It's
Here,
getting
yeah, this is
confusing.
it right here. Gratiot and 8 Mile.
Anyways, so I'm trying. I make it. I looked. There was nobody there, and I turned left into the turn lane, and I'm just trying to turn around in it. 8 Mile, and there's a light at Hayes. Well, so I get in the turn lane, and all of a sudden, this guy who was speeding nicks the back of my bumper.
Wait, there's a
No big
light
deal.
at you're on 8 Mile and there's a light at
Yeah,
Hayes.
I'm on 8 Mile, and again, I had to go on a left-hand turn lane. Yep, because you can left-hand turn into Hayes, and then you can take Hayes south. So you can take Hayes
I see.
down this way.
Okay,
Yep,
so you were
yep.
doing this
So
left turn here.
yeah, and so I got halfway out of my car. I just looked at my bumper, realized it was a tiny scratch I could wipe out, and was like, his whole car was like missing the entire body in the front. Like his car sucked. It was like a 98, and I could see like his fuel or his like windshield fuel and all kinds of stuff. Sorry, windshield wiper spray and all kinds of stuff. Like his car was hit. But anyways, it wasn't from the accident. It was just he tried to
Yeah.
blame it on me. So first he tells me, "No, we're good. Let's just go," because I did the right thing. I said, "Do you want to exchange information?" He said, "No." So we go to this turnaround. We're at the red light
This
right
one here,
there.
right?
Yes. And all of a sudden he goes, "Yeah, actually pull over." So we pulled over right next to that plaza. That's so awesome that you pulled that up.
Wait, so
We
this
pulled
this is
over.
where he hit you in this left turn lane, and then this is Hayes down
Yeah,
here, I
actually,
think.
but right by that arrow is where he hit me. Yeah, pretty close to that arrow. Yeah.
Okay, and
So,
then you
yeah,
guys were you asked him what do you want to do. He's like, nah, nothing. Let's just peace out.
exactly.
And then you
Exactly.
move forward. You kept going this way. There's the red light, and so
Yep. And then
after he
at the
okay,
red light, he screamed he wanted me to pull over and exchange info. So, well, he just said pull over. I assume that means exchange info, of course, right?
yeah.
You know, so
So you
so
pulled
we
over at
pull
this
over.
plaza here,
Right there, there's a shoulder. See that shoulder?
like right
That
here.
shoulder right. I'm sorry. If you go
Oh,
up
right
right
here.
there. Yes, there we go. That's
Okay.
exactly where we were. So
So
we
you pulled
were
over here
in
after
that
the
shoulder.
turn.
Exactly. He gets out
Okay.
of the car and says, "Look what you did to my car. You did all this damage." And I was
But he hit
like
you?
dumb. Yeah, and I was dumbfounded that he thought I did all that damage. Like I said, his whole like front body was missing. Like that was done a long time ago.
So he
And
was
because it
kind
was
of a shady fella from the get-go, right?
yeah. I didn't know until he got out. And then so I'm reaching in my car. I got out to meet him first and make sure, I wasn't even making sure he was okay. I just got out to talk to him. Then I go in my car to start getting information, and he says, "Information? No, what you got?" And while I'm grabbing my information, I'm still not afraid of him because he was a small guy. Um, I go, "I don't got shit for you except information," which I'm grabbing right now. And then all of a sudden he just started hitting me because I don't, he could probably see my wallet. My wallet was right in the center console.
Okay,
He
so
just started,
so he says pull over, and you guys pull over in the shoulder. And then
yes.
and you get out and he says he wants information, or he said what you got?
He said, no, he said he didn't want information. He said, I want to know what you have for me. That he
Oh,
said
he
for
said
me.
pull over, and you thought, "Oh, I want it." He wants insurance info now. And when you pulled over, he
Exactly.
basically was asking for a bribe almost.
He was strong arming me, yeah. I mean, he actually punched me. In fact, this is from him right here. He clawed me through the shirt. That's how, like, that happened through my shirt. I had like a turtleneck on, not a
So
turtleneck, but like,
so you both got out of your car, like you were out of your car, and he got out, and then he came and approached you towards your car.
yeah. And he approached me while I was okay. So I was standing up, reaching in like to try to find I was reaching in the glove box. I'm a very tall guy, so I can actually be outside of my car standing up and still get to my glove box. So I was reaching from the driver's side into my glove box and then also looking in the center console because all I could find was the registration at the time. And all of a sudden I feel the guy start hitting me and grabbing me with these claws. Because like I
What do you
said,
what
man,
do you mean
like
claws? Like long fingernails, like coke nail?
long fingernails. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I probably shouldn't have said ghetto claws. I was just really mad that he did
I
that to
wasn't
me.
sure if it was like long nails or if it was like where you put your keys in between your fingers, like Wolverine or some shit.
Maybe he did that. Who knows? But I think it was just long. Oh, I'm sorry. I got my hand over the camera again. I
That's right.
think it was just long fingernails, to be honest. And his punches weren't doing much, but it let me know that I was seriously threatened. Let me center the camera. It
And
let me
this is
know
when
that
you
I was
got your
serious.
back to him, and you're like
Yes.
halfway in your car. And he just started punching
Yeah.
you and scratching you.
Yeah, and then I just threw a random elbow, and I got very lucky and just nailed him right in his chin and got him pretty good. And he ran to his car and pulled something out that was metal and looked like a gun to me. It had to have been a gun. And by the time he even started to raise it up, he was about maybe 12 feet away from me. So let me center it again. I got to keep doing that. He was about 12 feet away from me, and I had already tried the bear spray once on a tree. It says to do that on the back of the bottle, and it says that it goes 15 feet. So I trusted it, and I sprayed it, and sure enough, it got him just enough. It didn't really get him that good, but just enough to make him cry and run.
Yeah,
Um,
well, I mean,
and
you tasted a little bit of it just from what got in your hair when you washed your hair, and he got, you know, enough
he
to
actually
piss
got in
him
his
off.
face. Yeah, yeah, it did get him in his face. It just didn't get him with the full power because he was like almost at max distance it can go.
So
You
he
know what I
hits
mean?
you when your back is to him, and once you elbow him, then he gets mad and runs to his car because he wanted to get, whatever, some sort of
Some
metallic
kind of
weapon, a
weapon.
gun or a knife or something. But
Exactly. Exactly.
so
And
so you sprayed him.
DPD. Oh,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Oh, so okay, so
I
you
was just gonna
sprayed him, and then he just takes off on foot.
Yeah, he actually didn't even go back in his car. Like I said, like he did the same thing my girlfriend did, just panicked. He just ran away towards 8 Mile. And
So did he have did he
I,
drop the weapon, or did he run off with the weapon?
he actually, I believe, ran off with it because I didn't see him drop it. I
Okay.
didn't see him drop it. Yeah. So, yeah, I didn't see him drop the weapon. I'm sorry about that. I didn't. So I can't confirm that it's a gun, but I'm pretty
When he
sure.
grabbed whatever the weapon was he already out of the car? Was he standing back up by the time you sprayed him? Like, was he
Yeah.
out of
Oh,
his
yeah.
car completely?
Yeah, we were. Yes, he was out of his car. I was out of my car. We were facing each other. It was like a duel. It was like a Wild West duel. Like whoever
Man,
gets their hand first. Yeah.
dude, if that was a
I actually
gun, you were seconds away from getting your ass shot.
exactly. If he had the balls to pull the trigger, he might have been one of these people that just pulls it and thinks I'm going to give him my wallet. You know, a lot
Right.
of people don't have balls to pull the trigger.
And what
You
time
know.
was this? During the day?
Yeah, this was at about noon, right around noon. Yeah,
So it's
I could
just
find it
as
on the.
bright out as it is on this picture here.
Yeah, and you wouldn't believe this. When I called 911 to report it, because you obviously good guys report things like this, bad guys run. You know what I mean? When I called to report it, I shit you not, Mike, I got hung up on by dispatch again. I don't know why they hung up. I was like,
Wait,
I just pepper sprayed somebody who tried to rob me when they hit my car, and they said something like, "Why'd you even pull over?" and then hung up the phone. And then I called back 911 again, and the dispatcher was nice this time
there's a
and told
different
me to come on.
dispatcher.
Yeah, yeah. And told me to come on in. And because of that, the corporal has been handling it, which I think is a little bit higher up than a normal cop. I'm almost, police ranks are different than military. I'm more familiar with military. But I know lieutenants and sergeants are very high in police. The corporal decided to handle it because I told him what happened with dispatch, and he's like, I'm going to listen to that call. Well, when he called me back the next day, he basically commended me for using bear spray and not a gun. He said, "You're absolutely the victim," but he refused to talk about the dispatcher because that day I was like, I am going to press to make sure that dispatcher either gets suspended without pay or fired because this is the third time now that I have been seriously attacked and a dispatcher has hung up on me.
Do
You
you
know,
think that when you called, do you think that because I've been upset about something before and not realized I was basically screaming at somebody when I called them. Do you think maybe you were a little bit rattled and they might have taken that as aggression and just said, "Fuck this, I'm not gonna. It's
no,
not an emergency. He's safe. So I'm not dealing with it."
You know, maybe, but I more think so in Detroit, I actually think they were just Detroit deals with too much, and that now that the
Yeah.
incident was already over, they just didn't care because I called 911 in Detroit one time. The only two times I've ever called 911 in Detroit, dispatchers hung up. Actually, I'm sorry, the second time they did answer. So two out of three times, a year or two ago, I posted on Facebook. You might remember. I saw two people beating the hell out of a 16-year-old kid. They were all about 16, 17, but they were jumping them, and it was 2-on-1. That's not fair. Oh. So, anyways, yeah, sorry about that. So I called the police. This was at 8 in Gratiot. I live in Harper Woods. That's why I'm always an 8 Mile. I don't want anyone thinking, I'm always looking for trouble. But so I called the police and let them know that, like, hey, these people just ran into Dunkin' Donuts and started beating the hell out of this kid, and this kid was trying to run away and avoid it. And they go, why are you calling us for this? Do you realize what city this is? And hung up on me. So, I think once the incidents are solved and it's not a shooting or an armed robbery, well, actually, he tried an armed robbery, but the dispatcher just wasn't getting it. You know what I mean? So I think, and Harper Woods, the same thing. Like they were dealing with a million calls because of the protest. You know what I mean? But when someone says carjack, you probably should let a cop decide whether or not they want to respond. You know what I mean?
Maybe they just had too many other emergencies. Because
They
it
were
sounded
over.
like, did they at least ask you, like, are you safe at the moment?
No, they just hung up. I couldn't believe it. They just said the protesters have the street. I think they had like 9 other
Oh,
calls
I
waiting.
mean on the one from Monday.
Monday.
The guy that hung up on you.
I can't remember. I know the second dispatcher definitely did. The second dispatcher apologized for the first one and was nice. So it was just a bad apple, and it was in the
It's
same
curious that
precinct.
corporal wouldn't do, like, he's gonna call you and say, yeah, you were right, that was fucked up, it shouldn't have happened, but I'm not gonna do anything to the dispatcher.
He did,
You
yeah,
know,
he just refused to mention it, and he killed me with kindness. And after the call, I go to my girlfriend. I go, you know what? I just let him play good cop and completely screw me over about that. Not screw me over, but you know what I mean. I just
yeah,
let him good. Yeah, I'm not saying he's not a good cop. He seemed like a nice guy, and he seemed like he cared. He actually said, I couldn't believe Detroit said this. He said he's going to that plaza to try to find any cameras and surveillance footage. Now, whether or not they do it or not, I don't know. But usually Detroit wouldn't even, say that.
yeah.
Detroit would just be like, tough luck,
Or they just say that to
So,
anybody just to get you to quit bothering them about it.
yeah. Yeah, they also told me they were going to arrest somebody for animal cruelty when I saw I've seen so much this year. In 2020, right at the Harper Woods border south by Kelly, I saw people, these guys came right out in the alley, right by Little Caesars where everyone parks. I don't know why they thought no one would see them. And they took these monitor lizards in winter. Monitor lizards are tropical. And they grabbed them by the tail and started whipping them against the fence and trying to kill them.
What the fuck?
Yup,
Monitor
my
how
girlfriend. They,
monitor
they were
lizards?
they were both savanna monitor lizards, giant. They were African monitor lizards. I looked up the species. I believe they're either savanna monitor or some kind of like rock monitor or something like that. But they look very similar. Yeah, they were
Are they
like
about
that.
this size?
Yeah, they were the same size, only less fat. But they were like 4 feet long. Yeah, they were. Oh yeah, they looked very similar. It might even be the same lizard. Yeah.
What the fuck?
So
And they just started grabbing them by the tails and swinging them around against the walls and shit?
yeah. I think one of two things: either they got too big and they're sadists, and that's how they wanted to kill them. The other one, they had already wounded and threw them in the snow. And when we ran over there and stopped them, I mean, I didn't care if they had a gun or not. I went over there and started screaming, and I'm 6'3", so they got a little scared. They were like, oh, they were both short. I think size had something to do with them backing off. But I looked in their box that they had the monitor lizards in, and they had a hammer and a vise in there too.
Jesus Christ. That's
Yeah,
serial killer
I
shit.
swear to God. And the cops documented all this. One lizard was already dead, fortunately. When the cops came, at least we believe he was dead. The other one was alive and moving around, and I wish I would have took him because someone on I knew I couldn't keep a 4-foot lizard. But because I've done that, been there, done that. I've had a 6 foot iguana, and it's a pain. They're cool, but it's a pain. So plus there's bacteria issues, etc. To make a long story short, the cops, I believe, were just going to euthanize it, and I felt really bad. You know, if I would have known I could have got a home for it, for the one that was still living, I would have. He just had bloodied eyes and bloodied nose and stuff, but he was going to live. You know, he was the one that got whipped on the fence, but only one time because I was walking out while it was happening, and my girl
Man, that's
pointed
crazy.
at me. Yeah. Now, I admit I didn't see them whipping it against the fence. My girlfriend did, but I saw the aftermath of it all, so she
Right.
definitely wasn't lying. You know what I mean? I saw one sitting in the snow, and I started screaming. I'm like, these are tropical lizards. That thing can't live longer than 5 minutes in that fucking snow. You know, I was going nuts. And then I was like, if you wanted to euthanize them, why wouldn't you just put them in the cold? That actually is a somewhat okay way to euthanize reptiles if they need it. And oh,
Turn your phone.
no.
Losing you. All right. Well, we lost Evan. It's a good. It's a funny. It's a funny screenshot though. No. Uh, we'll be back after these technical difficulties. He probably ran out of battery. Okay. I'm gonna.
Yep. So sorry about that little break, guys. My phone died. Or my I should say my tablet died. Well, I'm recording from a phone. I just don't want people to know that. But anyways,
You're gonna know.
yeah. To make a long story short about the lizards, because I know that's where we cut off. The police showed up. About 6 cops showed up, and a sergeant showed up. To their credit, and they did take the animals, and they were upset at the people, but they did not try to make any arrests. They didn't even try to interview them because they ran back into their house, but the police didn't even knock on the door. It made me sad because they told me, they said, well, we got the body cams right here, and we made sure we got their license plate, and so we'll make an arrest later, but COVID's going on right now. They never called me. I know they didn't make an arrest. You know, I guess I don't know, but, you know, I doubt it.
Yeah.
So it's just really sad. I've seen a lot of weird things going on, you know, a lot of violence, man. And for 3 years, I used to say Harperwood was safe. It was fine living over here. Even the areas of Detroit over there by Kelly and Meringue and all that, unless you're looking for trouble, you know, you usually don't find it. You know, if someone shady tries to talk to you, you just take off, you know. So I had no problem with this area until this year. And then, you know, 2 days ago, that guy, you know, pulling a gun on me, it's, you know, luckily, it's kind of weird how incidents work, Mike, because I would have never had that bear spray to protect myself had I not been attacked on July 15th. You know what I mean? So who knows? Like I said, he might have been scared to pull the trigger, but at the very least, I stopped myself from getting robbed. You know, I mean, I didn't have much on me, but still, I don't want to give it to somebody like that. You know what I mean? Um, you know, plus he would have took my wallet, all my identification, all the stuff I need. You know, that's important. So credit cards, you know, so it's just an unfortunate situation. But all the people saying, you know, oh wow, these things keep happening to you, it must be your fault. It's like I see where they're coming from, but I just haven't been instigating anything. I really haven't. You know, most of the time I'm in my room, to be honest, because I've been healing all summer with an ankle injury. It's finally healed. And I just found out today that, you know, I don't have a serious health condition that I thought I might have, so I can get back to work because they cut your insurance off the moment you get back to work. The last thing I want to say for all the people who, and I want this in there, for all the people who think I'm racist, I just don't like, I'm going to admit, I was carjacked. I don't like BLM and Antifa. I was neutral on BLM until I was carjacked. But I have meaningful conversations with black people every day. I live in Harper Woods, and as you know, I'm a talker. I like to talk. I like to meet people. And it doesn't matter whether they're white or black. I love talking to people and meeting people. So I am not a racist. I just am denouncing these groups, not people. And I know there's good people in Black Lives Matter. There definitely is. I just think that there's some dangerous things going on in this country, and that's my opinion. You know, I just
So
don't want you
without going too deep in that, because I remember since you brought it back up, there was something I did want to ask about, and it was the post from the other day after it happened. I think here's your post here. I think towards the end you started like, so you're talking about this situation that happened, and I didn't doubt that this happened to you at all, and I wasn't saying that it was made up or whatever. In fact, there were so many comments, and I was in the middle of other things. I'm like, I'm not gonna get involved in this one just right now. It's too much. But
yeah.
I feel like most of your posts, and I know I'm not the only one who feels this way. I feel like most of your posts end up like somehow connecting Black Lives Matter to it at all. And here's a situation where this was clearly nothing to do with Black Lives Matter, but you mentioned Black Lives Matter a couple times, and I know you're referencing at one point you're referencing what happened in July. But what is this? What does this that happened on Monday have to do with Black Lives Matter?
The reason I mentioned that, I was very upset. I would word things differently 2 days later. I think anyone would. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the reason I still mentioned it, like I said, I would reword it now, but I'm not embarrassed about it because what I mean is I think Black Lives Matter is emboldening crime. I really do. And that's why I'm against it. I think it's emboldening people and making people think that they can get away with things that they normally wouldn't get away with. And
So is it
they know
is
that the
it your
police are really
opinion?
tied up. It's also COVID too. It's not just Black Lives Matter. They know the police don't want to respond because of COVID too.
Is
You
it your
know.
opinion that say 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, driving around in that same area, that you would have been less likely to get attacked by some dude with a busted up car? That
Um.
since the origination of Black Lives Matter, now these
Um.
guys, these thugs that
Only.
are Detroit's famous for,
I'm
are coming
only
out of their
gonna say
shell.
yes. I'm only gonna say yes to that question because 2020 violent crime is up like everywhere. So I mean,
for
I just think
for for a variety of reasons.
yes, yes. It's not just BLM. It's not like I said.
I'm losing you. You're breaking up. Are you there?
So now I never said that in any of my posts, that I have a problem with black people per se. It's just I think Black Lives Matter is emboldening certain people to commit crime, but it's also other things. It's COVID. It's the lack of police enforcement right now. And I do admit that it's also the police. The police should not have been shooting rubber bullets at people in Detroit. They should not have been, if they are putting undercovers in there and causing violence, they shouldn't be doing that. So it's both sides. I am definitely not like you notice I'm never like go police. Before COVID, almost all my videos were anti-police, like that I
Mhm.
posted. I don't know if you remember that. So
Vaguely, yeah, yeah.
yeah, so you would think I would love this movement, but I was neutral on it because I was hurt. I had an ankle problem. I was still in a when I was running, I actually shouldn't have been running because I was in an ankle boot. I was in a cam boot, they call it. Um, and I was just healing and just neutral, just watching it on the news, and that just made up my mind for me. I was like, okay, this isn't just the news. This is happening in real life. This is happening right next to my house. So that just made up my mind for me, and I think anyone would get a little bias after that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
I
I'm
think
not.
it's the wording and the wording that you posted at, and like I could tell from reading your post the other day that you were definitely very pissed off. It's not terribly clear that what you think is Black Lives Matter is possibly, like you said, emboldening people to go out and try and steal your car or whatever it is that you think that dude might have been up to.
Yeah, and literally BLM might have had nothing to do with it, but I just
Uh,
feel like
I
crime
I
is
I
up.
wasn't there, but I don't think BLM had anything to do with it.
No,
This
well, no,
area is
no.
just a
Yeah,
shitty area where there's thugs. There's been thugs there for decades, and
yeah.
that's the area.
Actually, you know what? I will say 100% BLM had nothing to do with it. I guess what I meant is crime is up this year, and I think you know those groups have something to do with crime being up. That's just my opinion.